October soccer here in Dahlonega as two teams try to stake their claim ahead of the Peach Belt Conference Tournament in just a few weeks. It's the Clayton State Lakers visiting your North Georgia Nighthawks here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on NSN. I am Brennan Shabath. Alongside me today is Robert DiClemente for our annual Breast Cancer Awareness Game. The women's soccer program in the University of North Georgia are proud to support the fight against breast cancer and bring awareness to how you can help support fans. We ask that you take time and consider donating directly to UNG Partners, the Northeast Georgia Health System Foundation, to support oncological patient care. We can all support the fight against breast cancer and make a difference. And with it being the annual Breast Cancer Awareness Game, a lot of pink today. Robert, I got to say, you look good in pink, man.
You as well. You're rocking that pink North Georgia shirt. We see a couple of them in the huddle on your screen there, and they're handing out the T-shirts before the game, too. Really, really sweet to see those out tonight.
I love the blue and white, but something about that pink is pretty nice, too.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. So, very big match tonight between the Lakers and the Nighthawks. UNG coming off one of the tougher losses of the season on Saturday, a 1-0 result. They lost to Georgia Southwestern. The first time in the NCAA era in program history losing to the Hurricanes, 21-0 were the Nighthawks prior to Saturday's 1-0 defeat. Clayton State comes in having their best season since 2014. 7 wins, 1 loss, 4 draws, but conference play in the last 4 matches has been a little rocky. A couple ties, a couple losses for the Lakers as of late, so they're trying to move up the standings and find a better seeding before the Peach Belt Conference Tournament, and they're headlined by some key players today in Carrie Consulio, a junior from Peachtree City, Georgia, who's one of the best scorers in the country, and Amaya Sprunger-Hightower, a junior from Westfield, Indiana, leading them with 5 assists on the season and 10 goals as well. Their second best scorer. This offense for Clayton State, Robert, is very exciting.
No doubt about it. And that dynamic duo that they have out on the field right now with Sprunger-Hightower and Consolino, one of the best that you'll see in Division II women's soccer.
For the Nighthawks, Bailey Odinger gets a start as well today. 5 goals for her, tied for the team high on the season with freshman Sam Cottle, who's coming off the bench for UNG. The Nighthawks have dealt with some injuries lately. Mix and matching in the lineup is what Kaylee Ralton and J.P. Merlette have had to do as of late. And in the early goings here, UNG looking to get a strong start after the offense had a number of opportunities against Southwestern on Saturday, Robert, but just couldn't find the back of the net.
Yeah, they had plenty of opportunities, like you mentioned. They've matched their season totals of around 18 that they had in that game. Some of the tops in the country with that number, they just couldn't find the back of the net. And Southwestern, they only had 3 shots off in that game, 2 on goal, but they were able to find the back of the net and that one to come away with that historic win for the program.
Georgia Southwestern scored their goal, the lone goal of the match, in the 48th minute, just out of the halftime break. They did not register another shot the rest of the game, and UNG registered a bunch, had plenty of chances, but the defense played back. They packed the defensive zone to the Hurricanes, and it was just really tough for North Georgia to find opportunities to get to the back of the net, and ultimately they take their first conference loss of the season, or their second, excuse me.
Yeah, of course you want to come away with the win if you're Coach Ralton and the Nighthawks in that one. Occasionally you'll see a game that's supposed to win a matchup, drop a game or two during the season, but knowing how her teams play, they're going to bounce back tonight.
Sprunger-Hightower with it just inside the box. She puts one on the ground directly to the senior keeper, Sierra Fowler, who scoops it up. Fowler just 4 goals allowed this season, one of the best marks in the country.
Yeah, she hasn't really been able to string together a lot of consistent time this year because she's missed, a few games due to injury, so she's still trying to find her footing again this season, but, she's still up there with some of the best goalkeepers in Division II women's soccer.
And on the other side, it's Trinity Chastain as well, who's been really good. Just 6 goals allowed for her in 11 starts. That's a .57 goals allowed average. She's got 46 saves this season as well. Her .885 save percentage is 12th in the country.
Yeah, this is really just a fantastic matchup between these two goalkeepers, 2 seniors, veterans who have been around the block a handful of times for these 2 programs. So we could be in for a potentially low-scoring affair with how good these goalkeepers have been all season, and these back lines have also just been spectacular for both of these programs.
Clayton State, in their last 5 matches, has a 9-1 win against Shorter on its resume. But the 4 others that are in the PBC, they only have 1 goal scored and 2 goals allowed in those 4 matches. They've got 3 ties, a pair of scoreless ties against Georgia College and Lander, their most recent match, a 1-1 draw with Flagler. And then this Lakers team only lost 1-0 to the number 3 team in the country, now up to number 2, actually, Columbus State, who's dominated this season in Peach Belt play. First big opportunity of the match for North Georgia, a far side corner from Alex Clark, low into Kat Watry. She's tripped up, no whistle. Ball squirts out to Cruz, and it's cleared away by Julia Hasanich.
Yeah, just to finish that thought on Clayton State, this has easily been one of the most successful seasons for Ross Henderson in the era that he's been here for the head women's soccer coach in 2021, already matching their win totals from last year. They've just been really spectacular this year with still a lot of soccer left to play. They can go even further.
The Lakers have a .750 win percentage this season, and since the program started in 1995, they've only had 2 seasons above a .700 winning percentage. They haven't done it since 2014. It's been a decade since they won at this kind of level, and you look at all the scoreless draws in conference play and the close games they've had, it could be even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, that one loss to Columbus State, that's nothing to scoff at. Only held, the Cougars to 1 goal in that game, too, something that's very, very hard to do. They just couldn't come away with, another draw in that matchup. So they're going to be a very dangerous team in the PBC going forward.
Yeah, they held the Cougars to 1 goal, and that's a Columbus State team that leads the nation by a wide margin in a ton of offensive categories. They're averaging over 10 points per game as a team over there in Columbus. And that's why they're the number 2 team in the country. The Cougars 11-0-1 this season, 5-0 in PBC play, firmly in first place right now. We will get to the standings a little bit later and how your second-place Nighthawks have a path to consecutive regular season championships here in the Peach Belt Conference. Darby Olive's going to go give chase on the chip in from Aronoff. Olive gets there on the goal line, but it's taken away by Hasanich. Cut off there by Diaz. Chloe Diaz had a very nice goal in UNG's last win on the road at Georgia College 2 games ago.
Yeah, she's really had an incredible sophomore campaign this year, tripling her minutes from last year after not finding the back of the net in 2023. She has quadrupled that, 4 goals this year, second on the team. She has really been a key piece in this North Georgia attack game here in 2024.
And Chloe Diaz has been on fire as far as putting shots on target. She's taken 8 shots this year. 7 of them are on goal. And of those 7, she's got 4 in the back of the net this season. She's just been very efficient. Doesn't take a ton of shots, but when she does, it's usually got a chance to go in. Deep in the shadows on the far sideline, it's a battle for possession that currently goes to Carrie Consolillo, one of the nation's leading scorers. Fruits clears it out. Consolillo, 14 goals, 32 points on the season. She leads the entire country in goals per game and points per game. Those 14 and 32 goals and point totals are both second among all soccer players in the nation at the Division II level. She's just a lethal threat up front for the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just had her way with pretty much everybody this season that she's faced.
Aronoff on the near sideline, dribbles it into the middle, finds Wheeler with some space. That's dangerous for the Lakers. Wheeler sends a shot at the net just above the crossbar as Trinity Chastain let it go. We've seen Adley Wheeler strike from deep before, and she's been really good this season. Another opportunity there.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. That was a close call there for North Georgia. As we take a look at the replay, Wheeler's definitely not the player that you want to have with that sort of space as she takes the shot. Just misses that top of the goal. But North Georgia's in good position here. They've been the aggressors out the gate.
Throw in on the far side. Finds its way back to Wheeler. Referee moves out of the way as the ball is intended for Aronoff. She has it now. Looking for one of her captains, Watry or Olive in the front. Aronoff dribbles across to the far side. Wheeler takes it from her. That was Sprunger Hightower pressuring. Now on the far side, across in towards the net, and Watry just couldn't get there in time as Trinity Chastain scooped it up.
Yeah, a couple of really good looks for North Georgia here over the last few minutes, really testing Chastain, who is one of the best goalkeepers in the PBC this season, and a couple really good looks for them out the gate.
Sprunger Hightower goes to the middle to Lydia Madrid Cabrera, senior out of Murcia, Spain. No surprise, a lot of foreign presence for the Lakers. Some of their international players, some of the best on the team that have built, like we talked about, one of the better seasons in program history, especially recently for Clayton State and for head coach Ross Henderson.
Yeah, that just goes to show you the pull that he has when he's able to find talent, not just in the U.S., but globally, bringing in players into his women's soccer program. Just shows, how good of a coach he is, and the program that he's built over there at Clayton State, really something special.
Henderson, in his 4th season at the helm of this Clayton State program, 23 wins, and almost a third of them have come this season, like we mentioned, with that 7-1-4 record. Pass intended for Watry is out of bounds. It's a throw-in quickly from Gabriela Martinez-Alessi, freshman out of Madrid. Back the other way for Aronoff.
Yeah, Clayton State has a pretty good mix of upperclassmen and some freshmen here in their starting lineup. Coach Ralton today going with mostly upperclassmen in her lineup. A lot of veterans here. We got Kat Watry back in the lineup for North Georgia. We may see Sam Keidel come off the bench. Hopefully we will see her come off the bench at some point for North Georgia, but they're definitely going with some vets here to start the game out.
Odinger with a good touch. Now forward for Watry, and just a bit too strong. She found some space, but Watry unable to catch up to that one. It'll be a goal kick for the Lakers, and despite all that veteran presence, it is Blanca Cruz back in the starting lineup on the front line for UNG, and Blanca made headlines as Player of the Week in the PBC in the first week of the season. She had 2 goals on the road against Limestone in a big 2-0 win, and she has not scored since. And it's not for a lack of trying. 14 shots for her this season. I think 12 of them have come since that Limestone game. She's had opportunities, just unable to find the back of the net in what has been an impressive freshman season. And maybe they can get her going again and pick up a much-needed result here today against Clayton State.
Yeah, she's definitely one of those players that's a freshman on paper, but she plays like a 3rd or 4th year collegiate soccer player out there for Coach Ralton. And at the first week of the season is any indication as to what she can do. Expect to see her find the back of the net pretty soon here.
So that deflection off of Sierra Fowler means it's the first Clayton State corner of the match. Smilla Rosenborg, a freshman from Sweden, will take it. Over there with her as well is Lydia Madrid Cabrera, and Fowler's got it pretty easily. Going back to Smilla Rosenborg, out of all the matches we'll play this season, Robert, I think she's got the best hometown of anybody. She's from Vikingstad, Sweden.
How about that? Like you said, got a lot of international presence, but I think that's got to top it. And coming from a town like that, that is definitely it's definitely a very cool place to come from.
I think you just automatically win the icebreaker of any conversation of, where are you from? Well, I'm from Vikingstad. It's just pretty cool. Watry in the middle in dangerous territory. Goes back for Wheeler. Wheeler, a low screamer just below the crossbar that Chastain punches away. The second chance for Wheeler this match. Another good look, and it will lead to a set piece on the far side for UNG.
Yeah, that was just an absolutely phenomenal look as we take a look at the replay. As the ball came back into open territory, Wheeler, a couple of good opportunities to start this game out, and boy, they are really testing this back line early here for Clayton State.
Alex Clark will take it, the junior out of Florida, the midfielder. A good cross into the box that's deflected out of bounds by Sprunger Hightower, so we'll redo it on the near side, and that means Clark will switch with Aronoff. Elise Baresi, the lone defender, staying in the back. Clark is also in between midfield and the box. Rest of the Nighthawks in danger territory. Aronoff fires it on the ground. Wheeler tries to set up a shot. Goes to the middle with Clark. That's Diaz, excuse me. Back towards midfield with Baresi. Baresi forward a couple dribbles. Past the defender. Watry has it. And it's taken away. Watry tries to slide, unsuccessful. She tried to get it from Consulio. Nighthawks still with possession. Threatening off the corner, but it's a good job by Clayton State to back the Nighthawks away from danger territory. Now UNG's got to work just as hard to get back to the goal. Nice opportunity here with Clark. She's got one defender to beat. Clark setting up across for Watry, and just over her head. Kat Watry couldn't elevate to put the header on it, and it goes back the other way with Sprunger Hightower.
And Clark has made plays time and time again this year where she just puts the ball in just the right place for her team to score a goal, and that's definitely not the player that Clayton State wants to see on the end of those crosses into the box.
Boy, Consolillo nearly had an opportunity for a breakaway, and that was a big stop by Elise Baresi to halt the opportunity. Bailey Odinger's got it at midfield on the far side now. Odinger turns on a defender, chips it forward. Cruz was not in the area. She comes over and tries to step in front of Julia Hasenich. A couple nice moves from Leah Agrel, a freshman from Sollentuna, Sweden. And a whistle for a foul against the Nighthawks near the midfield. First free kick in play today. First foul on either side.
It's been a pretty clean game so far through these first 15 minutes. Like you mentioned, first whistle here in this one.
Looks like Daniela Goularte will step in to take it from midfield. Goularte, the defender out of Bluffton, South Carolina, a senior transferred in from Youngstown State. D1 there up in Ohio, and a deep ball intended for Consolillo, but she gets tripped up. No whistle, though. And an easy grab for Sierra Fowler, and possession back with the Nighthawks. Good give and go, and Odinger's got a little bit of room. Still numbers for Clayton State on the back, and Odinger's pass deflected. Cruz fighting for it. It's won by Hasenich, though. And Agrel just chips it forward. Consolillo's there. Baresi on her. Baresi marking well, but Consolillo dribbles away. Diaz picks her up. Chipped forward for Sprunger Hightower. She sends it forward, intended for Agrel, but too strong. And Clark boxes out Agrel so her keeper can scoop it up. Very good to see Sierra Fowler back in the lineup consistently. Dealt with an injury early in the season. Missed a couple matches. When she came back, only played a half or two at the start, but she's been back full-time for a couple games now.
Yeah, it's absolutely been great to see her, recovering from her injury. Still trying to find her footing a little bit here as she's trying to string together some consistent games. She started virtually every game over the last 3 years for North Georgia, so she's trying to build up some momentum here.
Watry and Diaz going back and forth. Chance for Cruz, but Chastain gets there in front. Nighthawks peppering the goal. Certainly has been their advantage as far as possession and chances through almost the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, 3 shots for North Georgia already through these first 20 minutes or so. Like we mentioned in that opener, they had their opportunities in their last game against Georgia Southwestern. They've had their opportunities in pretty much every game, approaching almost 20 shots per game for North Georgia. They just weren't able to capitalize in their last game, but hopefully if you're a Nighthawk fan, you're looking for some early goals here from North Georgia.
Already today, 3 shots, 2 of them on target for UNG. It's a team that is one of the best in the nation, top 15 and second in the PBC in shots per game and shots on goal. Second only to Columbus State. Throw in on the far side from Hannah Carlsoon. Agrel for Consolillo. Back for Agrel. She's got a step, an opportunity, and Agrel dribbles into the defense and take it away. Now Nighthawks have a chance on the counter. Watry looking forward for Diaz. UNG with some space. Diaz slows down, jukes, works her way, and now Olive up for Odinger. Odinger with 2 defenders near her as she creeps into the box, steps to the right, looks for a cross. Cruz is there, but it's deflected towards the goal, but out of bounds by Daniela Goularte. Dangerous deflection, and the 3rd corner of the day already for UNG.
Yeah, this is where North Georgia has to capitalize on these set pieces here to try to get a cross in and trying to find the back of the net, maybe looking for, Alex Clark here on the end to make something happen, or Kat Watry, this, 2 of the players that North Georgia targets time in and time out on these sorts of opportunities.
Clark's last chip in was a good one. Watry the deflection, and it's stopped before it can get to the net. I believe that was Carlsoon who blocked it. Now Clark another chip in. Watry with the header this time. Ball is still free for Cruz. She sends one back towards the net. Chance, back foot, Oettinger, no. Still in danger territory, and finally the Lakers get it out, but now here's Wheeler. She shut down, and it goes back to Olive. Pushed over, no whistle. Olive fighting for it, and she chips it away, but no Nighthawks in the area. Best chance so far tonight for UNG, and it's stuffed by the Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers are picking up right where they left off. In the handful of games that they played this season, 7 shutouts for the Lakers here in 2024. Their back line has really been spectacular. Get flashes of what you've seen from the amazing back line that North Georgia has put out season and season out.
Rosenborg played it back for Martinez Alessi. Fruits with a header towards the out-of-bounds line, and that's where Sprunger Hightower will let it go. Baresi has done a nice job early on Consolillo. Clayton State has clearly made an effort to get her the ball, and obviously she's one of the best scorers in the country. But Baresi, through the first couple of minutes, 20 it is, has done a nice job not allowing any opportunities for Clayton State early.
Yeah, very underrated part of this North Georgia back line that led them to 9 shutouts last year.
Cruz with a little bit of space. Off the right foot, just wide. Blanca Cruz, we mentioned her early. Another opportunity. This will lead to a goal kick for Clayton State and a substitution for UNG. Sam Cottle, the freshman goal scorer, checks in for Bailey Oettinger. So the two leaders in goal scoring this season swap places. Cottle with 5 goals on the year, also 3 assists, which is tied for the team lead as well with Darby Olive. She had a hat trick on the road against LMU and a big win early this season. That was the second freshman hat trick in UNG history since 2017.
Yeah, she's really been on an absolute tear this year with the goals that she has. She's, with up there with Katie Durkee, the second most goals in a season for a freshman. Katie Durkee had 8 in 2019, and that's, definitely a name that you want to be mentioned with. Durkee, if you're Cottle, one of the best players in UNG women's soccer history is Katie Durkee, so she's off to a great start to her collegiate career, Sam Cottle is.
Diaz has it taken away on the far side. That was Rosenborg forcing the takeaway. A couple headers back and forth. Wheeler pulls it down. Tries to dribble away from Agrol. And instead, it's intended for Sprunger Hightower. Good cutoff by Olive, and a whistle on Darby Olive. Looked like inadvertent contact, but that is still a foul. Going the other way for the Lakers.
Yeah, just a tough break there for Darby Olive, giving the Lakers this free kick in, not so dangerous territory here, past midfield, but it could potentially target somebody in the box if the boot is strong enough here for the Lakers.
Nighthawks drop a bunch of defenders back, and now a counterattack opportunity again. Olive with pace, has Watry on her left, Cruz on her right. Olive keeps it, plays it forward for Watry with a little bit of room. Going to chase her down is Martinez Alessi. Watry stopped by Alessi, and now a corner kick again on the near side.
This is now North Georgia's 5th corner of the game. You want to come away with at least a good look here if you're North Georgia on this opportunity.
Aronoff in one of the only areas that still has sunlight as we near 5:30 here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park. Aronoff raises the left hand, fires a good ball, back post. Cottle is there, a couple defenders for the Lakers as well, and it's cleared away.
And this is a good strategy for Coach Ralton to bring in Cottle off the bench, a fresh pair of legs. She's going to be going 110% for these next 22 minutes or so to try to find the back of the net.
Sam Cottle, also 5'9", one of the taller players that UNG has on an undersized team. She adds a lot of advantage there, especially like on those last plays on corners and set pieces. Clark nearly took it away. It would have been a good opportunity. Instead, Consolillo can't put her head on it. Baresi chips it back forward for Wheeler, who retreats to Aronoff. Back in the middle to Wheeler. She turns and finds Clark. Give and go with Clark and Cottle, and they try to do it again. Diaz picks up the miscue, though. Wheeler, a nice move. Room forward for Watry, and she just not quite on the same page as Wheeler. This is another corner, though, for UNG.
Yeah, they're really putting the pressure on here. While they're not finding the back of the net, they've kept the ball on this left side of the field here for a majority of these first 45 minutes.
Under 21 minutes left here in the first half, still scoreless, but it's been dominant possession for UNG early. Another good chance here. The corner kicks have been good tonight. Aronoff just had a good one to the back post. Can she do it again, but this time for a goal? It's low towards the front. Back is Fruit. She tries to get it on the volley. Deflected towards the bench. And Fruits will let it roll out to keep the throw in.
And these next 20 minutes or so are going to be crucial for North Georgia, trying to find something going here on offense. Just 1-2 this season in games where they haven't scored in the first half. So you want to try to find something here, try to build up some sort of momentum going into the locker room.
This is just a North Georgia team that lives with the offense and prides itself on its ability to score the ball, and getting shut out by Georgia Southwestern obviously puts a sour taste in their mouth. So how do they respond today? And so far with early chances, they've responded well. Feels like if they can get one into the back of the net, that's going to raise the confidence a lot for this team that needs it with a big slate of games coming up to end the season for UNG.
No doubt about it. 2 top 10 teams that they have to face to end their regular season against Columbus State and Lenoir-Rhyne, one of those at home, one of those on the road. It's going to be crucial for North Georgia to get a win tonight just to build up some sort of momentum heading into those final 2 games.
Fruits heads it forward. Olive clears it away from the box. And Cruz with a takeaway now at the midfield. UNG can go back the other way. So 3 days from now, on Saturday, they'll play Columbus State on the road, and that's a must-win game if the Nighthawks want to reclaim their title as PBC regular season champions, and then the season ends with a Lenoir-Rhyne matchup on October 30th. There is still a conference match that UNG has to play. A game earlier in the year, due to the effects of Hurricanes Helene and Milton, was postponed with Lander. It is expected that that game gets rescheduled eventually. The two programs currently in talks to try to figure out the best day, the best time. Lander has a couple matches to make up in the last few weeks of the season. So the conference and the two schools in talks right now to try to get that game on the books. So theoretically, there's 3 matches left after this one for UNG, 2 of which would be Peach Belt Conference contests.
Yeah, that is just an absolutely loaded gauntlet to end this regular season for North Georgia, especially with that rescheduled game. Wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen earlier in the season, so they've got their work cut out for them here in the next few weeks. They're going to be very, very busy trying to, like you mentioned, reclaim their PBC regular season champion trophy.
Yeah, this is a Nighthawks team that really just has not had many opportunities to prove itself to the rest of the conference and the country this season. Obviously, they lost the game to Florida Tech, which at the time was not a top 25 matchup. Florida Tech has launched into the rankings ever since then, and they look like a Final Four team, which they were a season ago. And that was a 2-1 loss, which really one mistake led to that loss for UNG. They played very well in that game. Other than that, they had a game canceled against a top 25 team in Catawba who was supposed to come to Dahlonega and play the Nighthawks. Another good team regionally, North Greenville, was supposed to get played. They didn't get to play that one. Lander, the game that's been postponed all season, has sat ahead of UNG in the regional rankings. Haven't been able to face the Bearcats. So this end of the season is going to be a gauntlet, and it wasn't designed this way. But now you get your chance to prove it right before conference and postseason play.
Yeah, the season's definitely not gone the way that North Georgia intended. Some of those games they're not going to get back that are out of conference for them, so they've just really got to show out here in the next few weeks.
Clayton State pressuring here, and Springer Hightower was offsides that whole time. UNG gets the ball back after the miscue for the Lakers. Fruits forward for Watry. She goes back to Olive. Nighthawks have been in firm control of the time of possession battle so far. And if we've seen anything, if just a couple days ago against Southwestern was any indication, that does not matter when it comes to what the result is going to look like.
Yeah, they can absolutely dominate time of possession, play some keep away with their opponent. It's just trying to find the back of the net is going to be just so crucial here for this North Georgia team. They've proven this season that they've taken their goal scoring to another level, but these last couple of games, they have not looked like what they have been to start the season.
And that's a game that maybe this young team needed to kind of learn about themselves and learn how to go through. I mean, that was just a gut punch to lose that game on Saturday. But you learn a lot about yourself in losses, perhaps more than in wins. Olive in the middle to Diaz. Back for Wheeler. One more time. Wheeler won't shoot this time. Steps aside and plays Clark. Clark with Cottle behind her. Redirects back towards the center. Wheeler with space outside the box. She lines up another shot. This one's low, and Chastain stops it again.
Yeah, they've done that a handful of times in this game where they give the ball back to Wheeler up top in the box, just a few steps outside, and they just haven't been able to capitalize. You got to think if North Georgia is going to get on the scoreboard in this game, it's going to be Adlai Wheeler who does it.
Well, Clayton State is clearly content allowing Wheeler to take that shot, and the Nighthawks are going to take that. She's got 4 goals this season. I believe 2 of them, if I'm remembering correctly, are just like that style. Chloe Diaz had a similar goal at Georgia College last week. The Nighthawks have shown an ability to score from deep range. Nina Lopez has done it before. Blanca Cruz. Here's Cruz on her left foot. Looking for the cross. Sends it in. Stopped by a defender right there. That was cut off by Goularte. Great job by the senior from South Carolina to halt another Nighthawk opportunity. Here's Sprunger Hightower now. Playing forward to Consolillo. Fruits is there. Consolillo with a little bit of a step. Fruits cuts it off. Consolillo returns, and she's picked up by Aronoff. Good job by the Nighthawks to stay with one of the top goal scorers in the country and not allow a good look at the net. Watry, far side. Not enough room for Cottle to get in front of Carlsoon. And a couple Nighthawks getting warm at the moment. Looks like Grace McGill and Angie Garcia are up out of their seats, ready to check in. It also looks like the Lakers are going to send Jessica Fuentes onto the field at their next opportunity.
Yeah, Angie and Grace have really kind of been the first 2 off the bench for Coach Ralton. Maybe that'll be the key in this game, just bringing some fresh legs here into this matchup to, try to just provide something different here to this attack game.
Cottle, nice control on the pass from Wheeler. She goes back to Adlai. Diaz turns, finds Cottle just out of her reach. Baresi headed past Consolillo. Clark had it taken away. Chloe Flanagan, senior from England. One of only 2 All-PBC selections last year. She made the second team in the midfield a season ago. The other one was Amaya Sprunger Hightower, who was a first-team selection with the forwards last year. Sprunger Hightower was actually the only Laker this season to be named to the preseason All-Conference team, and I think the voters of that are going to feel silly when they look at Carrie Consolillo's final regular season numbers, whatever those may be.
Yeah, she's up for, not just PBC Player of the Year, but you can argue Region Player, National. Yep, she's just one of the best talents that you'll see in Division II women's soccer. She's just been on an incredible run this year.
She's been the anchor for that revival of Clayton State women's soccer that we talked about. And if they can make waves in the postseason this year, whether it be in the PBC or in the NCAA tournament, should they get there, then you got to think that helps her candidacy as National Player of the Year. As Cruz goes off, Grace McGill takes her place. Garcia not checking into the game yet.
Yeah, hopefully North Georgia can maybe get a few more corners here in the final 12 minutes or so, especially with McGill on the field right now. She's got a lot of height for this North Georgia squad, too, so maybe try to get her involved here late in this first half.
Jessica Fuentes also taking the place of Leah Agrol for the Lakers in white tonight. McGill, 4 goals last season as a freshman, one of the best players on this team before she injured her ACL and was out the rest of the year. It was a slow process when she would come back this season. She made her debut against USC Aiken earlier in the year in what was an 8-1 win and scored a goal in that match. That's her lone goal of the year, and they need her in a big way down the stretch this season. 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Still just 1 shot for Clayton State in the early goings. 7 for UNG, 3 of which have been on frame. That pass too strong for McGill. It'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, Clayton State with just 1 shot fired off against Sierra Fowler on the stat sheet here in this matchup. The Nighthawks, just like back on Saturday, they're getting their opportunities. They're really testing Chastain here in this game. They just haven't been able to really figure her out to try to squeak one by her.
Angie Garcia takes the place of Chloe Diaz here in the final 10 minutes. Garcia, a sophomore out of Lawrenceville. Played 13 games last year, the most among any freshman. Had a goal and an assist in total on the season. Still looking for her first goal this year. She does have 1 assist in her 8 games played.
Yeah, and you like to see that kind of progression from Garcia, not really, stalling out. She's definitely been a little bit more involved this season as well. Like we mentioned, one of the first players off the bench for North Georgia, so she's going to be a key piece going forward for this Nighthawk program.
After the foul, a free kick here for Daniela Goularte. Center box, over the head of everybody. Fruits puts it forward, and she'll finally use her foot to clear it way out.
And these back lines in the PBC, I feel like we've said this multiple times in these matchups, have just been great this year.
Olive tripped up, no whistle. Taken away there by Martinez Alessi. A little bit of space for Clayton State as they get it forward to Sprunger Hightower. Trying to get around Arnoff. Crosses into the middle. Nobody's there. Carrie Consolillo was way out of the play outside the box. The closest was the sub, Jessica Fuentes.
Yeah, that could have been a dangerous opportunity had Consolillo had just a few more steps towards the ball. There was a lot of green grass there in the box there for Clayton State. Had she been able to get a touch on that, could have spelled danger for Sierra Fowler.
It's thrown in by Carlsoon. And now a UNG throw-in. Looks like the Nighthawks are going to sub. Kat Watry going off, and Megan O'Brien will take her place. O'Brien, the transfer last season from Georgia Southern, a senior this year. 2 goals for her.
Yeah, O'Brien, a very underrated part of this North Georgia team. Led them in assists last year, had 4 goals as well, and she's one of those spark plugs off the bench as well for North Georgia, where she just comes into the game and you can immediately feel her presence as soon as she steps on the field.
Yeah, she's been quiet this year, but perhaps one of the best-kept secrets for Kaylee Ralton and the Nighthawks. Thrown in for Consolillo, and quickly it goes the other way. Carrie Consolillo has just been held in check through this first half for UNG. A big accomplishment for the back line that has held up for this offense that's put on a lot of pressure. Nighthawks have been the better team this first half. Here's McGill with a little bit of space. Olive now. Defender on her hip. That's Sprunger Hightower taken away with a lot of speed. And back the other way, Sprunger Hightower quickly goes on the near side. Looks for the middle, sends it that way. Baresi almost cut it off. Consolillo now forward. That's Talia Stoggerlin. Consolillo trying to line one up. Wheeler steps in front. Cottle gets back as well. Aronoff cuts off that through ball. Madrid Cabrera trying to apply pressure. Sprunger Hightower retreats. McGill couldn't rub off Martinez Alessi. And it gets all the way back to Goularte.
Just to finish that point that you were talking about, Brendan, with how good of a job that North Georgia's done on Consolillo here through these first 40 minutes or so in the first half. She almost averages, or she does average a goal per game this season, which is just absolutely absurd. So the fact that they have been able to keep her in check through this first half is just a testament to how good this back line for North Georgia is.
She averages 4.5 shots per game, 53 in total. She has not had one yet. Goularte. And over the head, that was of Stangerlin. So a goal kick for Fowler with just over 5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, these last few minutes have really been, kind of dominated by Clayton State. We'll see if North Georgia can finish off here in the first half, try to go into the locker room with the lead. It's going to be crucial for them if they want to come out with this win.
Garcia has some room. Olive up for O'Brien. Aronoff runs behind. O'Brien back to the middle on her right foot. Garcia steps forward. Garcia, a couple dribble moves. Has it ready with her left. Deflected as that may have been a shot attempt. Unclear. And it's cleared away. Up for Stangerlin. Talia Stangerlin, a senior out of Ontario, Canada. Subbing in at the end of this first half. And she's got a little bit of room here as Baresi misplayed that one. Stangerlin trying to get past the defense all the way into the corner of the box. I think she's trying to work a corner kick here. 2 defenders on her, and a nice job by Baresi to get it away. And now Baresi will just clear it on the sideline for a throw-in.
Yeah, she was double-teamed there near the North Georgia soccer logo. Good job by the Nighthawks back line to stop any sort of momentum there.
Carlson chucks it in for Madrid Cabrera. Those two go back and forth a little bit, and Madrid Cabrera sends a cross that Aronoff clears with her head to Garcia. Crowd getting a little antsy as O'Brien has some room. McGill's there. McGill trying to spin around a defender, gets the whistle called, and a set piece about 10 yards outside the box for UNG. Under 4 minutes left in this first half, and the best chance so far for the Nighthawks with a free kick to get on the board first.
Yeah, this is, like you mentioned, Brendan, a great opportunity for them to try to get on the board. This is where a lot of the shots that Wheeler has taken, they've come from around the same sort of position, maybe just a few more steps to her right. But they get a good opportunity here. She's not going to have any pressure on to try to fire one in the back of the net.
Nighthawks put 4 in the box on the far side. Aronoff is just outside it on the near side. Olive is there with Wheeler. 4 goals this season for Adley. Can she get number 5? Punched away by Chastain again. Another great look for Wheeler. It is still a corner kick. Now 3 minutes and counting to play.
Wheeler has just kind of had her way here in this first half as we take a look at the replay there on that free kick. This probably their best opportunity, but a great save there by Chastain to keep North Georgia off the scoreboard.
Pinpoint accuracy by Wheeler. Clark now with another corner. This her 5th of the game. A good ball into the middle, headed up. Olive and McGill are over there. That's O'Brien back towards the goal line. Olive trying to get another corner. Instead, it's off of UNG and O'Brien back for a goal kick. Clayton State avoids danger yet again.
Yeah, they can kind of take a breath here after North Georgia put the pressure on them more than a handful of times there over the last few minutes, and they can kind of regroup as we approach 2 minutes to go, and we'll see if they can be the ones to try to crack open this scoreboard here.
Consolillo in the middle. Tries to send it forward to Fuentes. Olive and Fuentes in a heated battle, and advantage Fuentes as the whistle is called on Darby Olive, the senior for UNG.
Yeah, we could see Clayton State potentially, bleed a little bit of clock here on this free kick.
Try to make it one of the last opportunities before the half. Goularte is going to take it. She's been their set-piece handler in this area just inside the midfield. She's had a couple good balls. Here is another one. And offsides on Clayton State. Couple of Lakers in the area. Not sure if it was Sprunger, Hightower, or Stangerlin that was called for the infraction.
It's been a little bit of Clayton State's kryptonite in this game. A couple of offsides calls on them. Now, with a minute to go, we'll see if North Georgia can flip the script and sneak one in.
McGill forward for O'Brien. A little bit of room, and she's offsides. Megan O'Brien a step in front. Surely a goal if she's not called for it. And with less than 60 seconds to go, that's a heartbreaker chance for UNG that goes by the wayside.
We just mentioned how much of a killer that's been for Clayton State, North Georgia there. Not the beneficiary of that call. That was a dangerous opportunity for North Georgia as she had a one-on-one opportunity there with Chastain.
8 shots in this first half, and that's the first time UNG has been ruled offsides. 20 seconds remaining in the opener. Sprunger Hightower with one last chance for Clayton State. Aronoff does a good job to stop that forward press. Now UNG, maybe with last-second magic before they head into the locker room. 10 seconds left for O'Brien. On the near side, the countdown going down to 6. McGill has to fire soon. O'Brien, McGill, and they will not get a shot off before the clock runs out. Really good pressure in that first half for UNG, unable to find the score sheet. But if you're Kaylee Ralton, Robert, you have to be happy with the way those first 45 minutes went.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They were absolutely the aggressors in that first half. They had plenty of opportunities against this back line against the Lakers, and you got to think with how good that they've looked through the first 45 minutes and how well that they've been able to find the back of the net, odds are they're going to crack open the scoreboard here when we come back from our halftime break.
45 minutes down, 0 goals for either side. UNG in control, but Clayton State hanging tough against the Nighthawks. Stick around for the halftime show here in the Nighthawk Sports Network. Coming up 0-0 from Dahlonega here on a Wednesday night. Welcome back to Lynn Cottrell Park and the UNG soccer field. 0-0 at our half between the Lakers and the Nighthawks. With it being halftime, let's take a look at our Nighthawk notables this week. A lot going on for UNG in the coming weeks and days. Men's soccer on the road in a huge matchup against Clayton State after the win over Flagler after the win over Flagler on Saturday for the men. They sit in first place by a point ahead of Flagler and Clayton State. Now the issue for the Nighthawks, this match against Clayton State is one of two they have remaining in conference. Clayton State, including tonight, has 4 conference matches left, so plenty of opportunities for the Lakers to overtake the Nighthawks. But if they can pick up a win today in Morrow, they can move 4 points ahead of Clayton State towards the end of the season and do something they've never done before, which is win the Peach Belt Conference regular season title. That win against Flagler on Saturday, Robert, was super fun, super big for the standings, and it's 0-0 at the half in Morrow right now between the Lakers and the Nighthawks on the men's side. Huge night tonight for UNG soccer.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're trying to follow up that amazing performance against Flagler this past Saturday. You could see the celebration with the man himself, Jorge Sandoval, who came away with that game-winning goal with less than 30 seconds remaining in that matchup. They've been doing some really historic stuff the last 2 seasons under Coach Lilich.
Yeah, and that goal from Jorge Sandoval was professional level. I mean, 30 seconds to go, one touch, saw the ball over his shoulder land, bounced once and kicked it on the volley, and I think like myself, most people thought that's going to land on the baseball field just beyond the right side goal here at the UNG soccer field, and it just died into the back of the net. One of the more impressive goals we've seen. Yeah,
no doubt about it. You said it perfectly. That one looked like it was going to go well out of play. It looked like we were on our way to another North Georgia tie, but alas, they come away with the win, and they're cooking up something special here in Dahlonega.
Cross Country is hosting the Peach Belt Conference Championship on Saturday. That's in Gainesville. The races start early in the morning. The men's first, the women following. Obviously, only women's cross country team that we have here for the running fall sport for the Nighthawks. Looking for their PBC championship, their first since 2017. It's 6 straight runner-up titles for the Nighthawks. But the good news is for UNG, they just ran in the USC Upstate Invitational and finished ahead of Flagler. Flagler has won the conference for those 6 straight years that the Nighthawks have finished second. Flagler has been first, but they beat Flagler in their most recent meet, I should say. Good start heading into the conference championship this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. They've really been cooking up something special as well this year, especially with Claire Mills, one of the best runners in all of NCAA Division II women's cross country. What they've been able to do has been just really something special. They're making history this year, trying to find, like you said, the first PBC title since 2017. And so, they've just had a really, really fantastic season all around the board for cross country.
Also coming up on the Nighthawk Sports Network, another edition of The Hawk's Nest. Episode 5 features Bryson Worley. That comes out tomorrow morning, and Bryson Worley and the men's golf team just finished up their fall campaign. They won 2 of the 4 tournaments they played in. They placed 3rd in all of them or better. Obviously coming off that national runner-up season last year. Very fun to sit down and talk with Bryson Worley, and that episode comes out tomorrow. And, ladies and gentlemen, folks, basketball tickets. Season is right around the corner. Season and single game tickets are available now at ungathletics.com. And as always, take a look at the Nighthawk collection. NighthawkSidelineShop.com. Plenty of new and exciting gear featuring the brand new Nighthawk logo, the new NG, at the NighthawkSidelineShop.com, available today. Robert, I know you've already been a customer of the Sideline Shop. How do you rate your experience?
I would say 11 out of 10. It was easy pickup going to Memorial Hall to go ahead and go grab that half zip that I ordered. Unfortunately, these sweet pink shirts that you may have seen a handful of times on our broadcast today, not available on the website, but still just some really awesome gear that you can go pick up with the new NG logo. I'd say I'm very happy with my purchase with that half zip. Excited to wear that as the temperature starts to drop here over the next few months in Dahlonega.
Yeah, the pink shirts are an in-person treat only to the first 200 fans here at the UNG soccer field. So keep an eye out for more promotional schedules at ungathletics.com if you want any more goodies as we get into the winter and spring sports. We'll be back in a few moments here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
All right, show me how you did that again. I'm here. You've got a lot of reasons to be here.
I'm here.
That's why we're here. At Georgia Heart Institute, our breakthroughs in artificial intelligence could accurately model and predict future heart problems decades in advance, so you can make plans today to be just where you're needed tomorrow.
Oh, I'm here.
The future of heart care. We're leading Georgia there. Georgia Heart Institute.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership, passion and preparation, transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by the Northeast Georgia Health System, the official healthcare partner of UNG Athletics. Bryan Properties, serving all your commercial real estate needs. Dahlonega Resort and Vineyard, escape to the North Georgia mountains for your next weekend getaway. Achasta, golf, community, and tranquility. Coca-Cola, the official sideline provider for North Georgia Athletics. beautiful in Cottrell Park, the site of the Lakers and the Nighthawks here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. 0-0 at our half. We mentioned the standings on the women's side for the PBC a little bit earlier. Here's how they shake out right now. Obviously, Columbus State undefeated on the year, undefeated in conference play. 15 points for them this season. The Nighthawks with 13 at 8-1 in second place. We highlight the points possible. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, 0 points for a loss. And for the Nighthawks, 9 points possible with 3 possibly tonight, another 3 when they take on Clayton State, Columbus State, and then another 3 hopefully if that Lander game gets rescheduled. I think the assumption is that that game will get put on the schedule, so 9 chances for the Nighthawks to get some more points, or 3 chances I should say to get 9 points as they sit 2 behind Columbus State, but obviously one of those against Columbus State. That game on Saturday is going to be huge to try to retake first place in the standings. But Columbus State does still have 4 matches left, so 12 points possible for them. And there you see Clayton State down there in 6th. They were picked 5th, 2-1-3. Those 3 ties really hurting them at the moment, but just 1 loss on the year. They still have 9 points possible left this year. But there is a road to first place for UNG, but it's not in their favor right now. Not going to be an easy one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're down but never out in these standings, and, they're very accustomed to making these runs late in the season to try to come back, and we saw last year they won the PBC, and they're definitely, no doubt about it, in the running to at least host a Peach Belt Conference tournament game this season. Clayton State not out of it as well, with just that 1 loss against Columbus State coming in the Peach Belt Conference, and so these final few weeks of the regular season are just going to be absolutely massive. We could see a ton of changes here in the top 4 for these standings.
Nighthawks need to pick up a win here against Clayton State first if they want a real opportunity at first place. And they certainly dominated that first half. 8 shots to just 1 for the Lakers. 4 of them on goal for UNG. Clayton State's only shot was on goal. 7 corners, 1 for the Lakers. But doesn't matter because it's still goose eggs on the scoreboard.
Yeah, what you kind of like what you've seen from North Georgia offensively, just getting their shots off, typical from what we've seen from them all season long. It's just capitalizing on the end of those.
So the Nighthawks start as they kick it off here in the second half. 2 teams flipping sides. UNG going left to right on your screen. The Lakers the other way. Black versus white tonight in the jersey matchup. UNG accessoried in pink for the breast cancer awareness match. Clayton State really struggled in that first half to get Carrie Consolillo involved as much as they would normally like. Here's Cruz for Odinger. Odinger in on net. Scores! Bailey Odinger right out of the halftime break, and the Nighthawks are on the board first.
That's exactly what you want to see coming right out the half here. And they are just putting the pressure on, and they kind of caught this back line off guard for Clayton State, and doing what they do best is Odinger finding the back of the net, and North Georgia rolling here to start out this first half.
A great look on the replay as UNG takes its first lead of the game, 1-0. Bailey Odinger with her 6th goal of the season, a team high for the junior transfer from Lipscomb in her first season in the blue and white for the Nighthawks, and that's a big goal for UNG. Robert, you and I were talking during the halftime break off air about the chances that UNG was getting, and while they certainly had more chances, they didn't have that one right in on goal. And there it is, less than 60 seconds out of the halftime break.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if anybody was going to break this game open, Odinger is a good one to do it. That's our 6th goal of the season now. Just been a huge addition to this North Georgia roster.
So the Nighthawks get that much-needed goal to pull in front, and now they're certainly in the driver's seat firmly. All the pressure on Clayton State to try to level this game, and they have not had many opportunities.
Yeah, you definitely got to find something quick here, especially against this really stout North Georgia back line. Want to find something quick here. Try to, not let North Georgia celebrate for too long.
Quick foul, and Watry quickly gets it back into Wheeler. Wheeler had a number of shots in that first half. A lot of them on goal, and that ball for Watry on the far side is too strong from Adley. Sprunger Hightower, heavily involved in that first half. She gets rubbed off right there by Aronoff. Now here's Olive in the middle. She's cut off by Carrie Consolillo, blindsided, and a great job by the forward to stop that opportunity for UNG. It was a great spot to have the ball on Darby Olive's foot. Still more pressure with the Nighthawks. Diaz, Watry, and Aronoff. Back for Diaz. Just on the corner of the 18-yard box. Now back to Wheeler. Clark is in the mix as she's got plenty of room. Plays Olive in the middle. Olive turns back to Clark. Near side Odinger, the goal scorer already. Looking to maybe get an assist here. She dribbles into the box, sends across, far side. Header Watry. Too soft, and Chastain is right there.
The pressure is on, though, for Clayton State. North Georgia's really started to figure them out here in these first 4 minutes. And whatever that message was in the locker room with Coach Ralton and Coach J.P. Merlette certainly worked.
Over the head of everybody on the punt and controlled by Olive. Now to Wheeler. Watry with space. Hear her team from the bench telling her to go, get down there. And just a touch too strong as it goes back to Chastain.
Yeah, Blanca Cruz almost got a touch on that one. Just a bit too strong for her, though.
Wouldn't say the Nighthawks are necessarily a second-half team, Robert. For the most part, they haven't had to be this year. You mentioned all the first-half goals that they've had and how easy it has been for them to score this season. Typically, halftime has been an opportunity to regroup, set your sights on the goals in the second half that you want to accomplish and go out there and do it. It hasn't been a time of pressure or teaching or change, except for the last couple of games. And obviously Saturday against Southwestern, 0-0 at the half. Same thing here. And today they get the much-needed result, and you're absolutely right. Have to imagine that halftime conversation was spent well as they get exactly what they want out of the break. Foul on the Nighthawks. Possession for Clayton State in the midfield.
Yeah, it's got to feel good for North Georgia, especially, being shut out in their last game. First time that's happened all season long. And Clayton State, they've been no strangers to shutting out teams this season with 7 on the year. It's, really hard to score a goal against this back line and against the goalkeepers for the Lakers.
Good cutoff there by Fruits as Talia Stangerlin tried to get in on goal there, and Fowler came in and scooped it up.
And Fowler has just looked really poised all game long. Hasn't been tested a ton. Expect to see her a little bit more involved here in the second half as Clayton State, now in a deficit, starts to kind of ramp up the intensity, but she's, really looked at home all game long.
Can already feel more pressure bordering on this attacking zone for the Lakers. They've primarily dropped the defense back to try to limit that talented Nighthawk front, and that's changing now down a goal. Chloe Diaz with a good takeaway, up for Cruz with a little bit of space on the far side. Cruz turns the corner along the goal line. It's out of bounds and a corner kick.
Yeah, they're picking up right where they left off in that first half with these corner opportunities. Couldn't capitalize anything on the first 45 minutes, but they're in a good position here to do so.
That was Hasanich defending Cruz. It will be Alexa Aronoff taking the corner over there with her. Believe that's Diaz. It is. Aronoff just under 39 minutes. A good high ball into the middle. Watry heads it up once towards the far post, and it gets cleared out, but still in good territory for Wheeler. She rifles a shot that's deflected before it can get to the net, and Carrie Consolillo now has it taken away by Odinger. Clark looking in the middle, goes that direction to Wheeler. Aronoff in front of her own bench. Forward on the right foot. And now Clark with a little bit of space. To Olive in the middle, spins away and gets rid of it to Odinger. Bailey Odinger always dangerous towards that end line. She gets decked as she sends a cross in. No whistle. That ball never had a chance to find a Nighthawk. Odinger a little bit slow to get up, but she is back in the play as Chastain takes her time dribbling it over to the far side where she will boot it from.
Yeah, the Lakers doing anything they can to contain Odinger here after she's starting to find a rhythm here in this second half. So expect to see her pretty much double, maybe even triple teamed every time she gets a touch on the ball.
Wheeler forward to Odinger. Bailey Odinger, we mentioned the transfer from Lipscomb. She came last spring, so she's actually had a lot of time to develop rapport and camaraderie with her teammates. Watry with a little bit of opportunity and a foul before she could make a chance going against the Nighthawks.
Yeah, and Odinger is really just one example of, a handful of new Nighthawk faces that have really just stepped up in a big way this season. Lots of North Georgia's freshmen getting involved offensively as well. I believe it's 7 of the 9 freshmen on this North Georgia team that have found the back of the net this year. So they've been just some huge, huge additions to this women's soccer program here in Dahlonega.
I mean, obviously after the offense and the talent that was lost last season, it's going to be some new faces that take over. But for the main part, their anchors have been some of the returners. Grace McGill has been a big piece for them late in the season. Adley Wheeler and Chloe Diaz in the midfield. Darby Olive, a senior, has kind of controlled everything. But with all that being said, their 2 leading scorers are 2 newcomers in Odinger and Sam Cottle, the freshman. With it on the far side is Chloe Flanagan. Sprung her high tower to the middle with Caitlin Mosley, junior out of Trussville, Alabama. First time we've said her name tonight, and it's taken away. Cruz got in front of that one, but it's deflected off her hip all the way back to Chastain.
And lucky for North Georgia, even though, they're led in goals by Odinger with 6 this season, really they can just resort to pretty much anybody on this roster, anybody who steps on the field for North Georgia. It could be their game. 15 different Nighthawks netting a goal this year. It's just really something to marvel at here. It's really been a common trend for these Coach Ralton teams over the last handful of seasons.
Robert, and of those 15 goal scorers, 10 of them this year, multiple goals this season. So it's not just kind of random 15. It's you've got 10 solid goal scorers on your squad.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, really under Coach Ralton, you'll never see, a player that, dominates like, Clayton State has with 14 goals. They really kind of share the ball around, and, that's been a really common trend where, the leading goal scorer on a team for North Georgia kind of caps out around 6 or 7 goals, but it's just a testament to how, great this North Georgia team is, all the talent that they have on their squad.
Whistle on the Nighthawks. That last substitution, Sprunger Hightower goes out. Lovisa Paylot checks in instead, a freshman from Sweden. Sprunger Hightower was all over the place in that first half and certainly deserving of a breather.
With all the attention that Consolillo has gotten, you'd think maybe Sprunger Hightower can kind of capitalize here for Clayton State, but North Georgia's done a good job of keeping her quiet as well.
Watry against a couple defenders, retreats for Diaz as she runs through to just outside the box. Now Olive trying to make something happen. Olive a little bit of space into the middle on the ground, intended for Watry, but snuffed out. Good job by Daniela Goularte, who still has it now. To the middle with Fuentes. Odinger comes flying from behind. Fuentes keeps it and gets rid of it to Carlson, though. Good interception there by Wheeler on the pass intended forward for Stangerlin. Oettinger, a nice move away from Carlson. She still got it. Now Baresi. Baresi with a little bit of pace, dribbling through the defense, taken away. And a chance on the counter for Clayton State, but they won't get it forward quickly enough.
Yeah, Baresi, she's just been a really underrated part of this North Georgia defense that lost a lot of veterans in the offseason, but she's still standing strong out there for North Georgia. Has missed a handful of games this year. It's kind of been in and out of the starting lineup, but she's, I think, back into a firm starting role here for the Nighthawks. Really a big veteran presence for them in her third season.
Yeah, she started the year on the bench with an injury, and that's a piece that they wanted on their back line. That was one of the top 3 in the Peach Belt for 4 years running before this season, and has been very good this year as well. That's a piece that they wanted. For all the players that they lost, it was the back line with Michael Fruits, Elise Baresi, Alexa Aronoff, and others that you felt like going into the season, okay, we could still rely on the defense. We've got an All-American goalkeeper in net, and we've got a back line that's full of returners. And then there were just some injuries to start the year, and Elise Baresi being one of them.
Yeah, the Nighthawks, they've definitely been hit with a little bit of the injury bug this year. Like you mentioned, Fowler has missed some games. Watry has missed some games for the Nighthawks as well. So they haven't really been able to string together some consistent starting lineups compared to what they saw last year, but they really haven't missed a beat with, just those pair of losses on the season.
Yeah, and any team is going to deal with the injury bug in a similar way that the Nighthawks have. It's obviously just a part of the sport. The good teams will find a way to win despite it, and that's what UNG has done this year with their 8 wins already.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coach Ralton's not going to use injuries as an excuse. This North Georgia women's soccer program has always played with that next man up mentality and who's going to step up in the face of adversity, and so far we've had a handful of examples of that here this season.
Throw in right in front of the UNG bench for Clayton State. Nearing 15 minutes gone in this second half. If you're just joining us, a scoreless first half was ended just 60 seconds into this second half as Bailey Oettinger got her 6th goal of the season, a team high this year, to break open the scoring. That's where we are right now, 1-0 in favor of the Nighthawks, where they desperately need a win. Should they pick it up, it would be their 5th conference win of the season, which would tie Columbus State. The Cougars in first place in the conference standings right now, in second place in the national rankings, the number 2 team in the country at 11-0-1. Nighthawks going to try to chase them down at the end of this season. They will face each other, the Cougars and the Nighthawks, in Columbus this Saturday.
Yeah, that's going to be a very fun matchup. Wish that game could have been played at the UNG soccer field at home, but they'll have another top 10 team coming here to the UNG soccer field in Lenore-Ryan in just a couple weeks. That'll be a fun blackout game here in the Gold City.
That game in Columbus on Saturday, scheduled for 2 p.m. Lenore-Ryan and the Nighthawks kick off October 30th on Wednesday. That's at 4 o'clock here in Dahlonega, a Wednesday doubleheader. The men will take on Lander shortly thereafter. Corner kick here for the Lakers on the far side, just their 2nd of the game. And the lefty, Julia Hasanic, will start this set piece. Our referee has a couple words for those inside the 6-yard box, crowding Fowler. Hasanic, a good ball. Fowler reaches above everybody and plucks it out of the air to halt the opportunity. Sierra Fowler just mossed the entire Clayton State offense.
That's just a classic Sierra Fowler play there. Like we mentioned, wasn't really tested in that first half. You definitely know that Clayton State's going to come out firing here in these final 28 minutes, and she's going to be up to the task every single opportunity that Clayton State throws at her.
Great job there on a really good ball from Hasanic. We haven't seen, obviously, many corner kicks. That's just the 2nd of the night, like we mentioned, for Clayton State. But a great ball, and Fowler went up and got it. 28 minutes to go here in this contest. It's Clark. Olive had it taken away. And it's just cleared by Martinez Alessi, but right to Alex Clark with a little bit of green grass around her. Odinger, good cut inside. Odinger into the box, cross into the middle. Nobody there. Olive now has it on her left foot, shoots. Olive slots it in the back of the net, and the Nighthawks go up by a pair of goals.
And that's just a savvy veteran play there by Darby Olive, who has had a phenomenal season. Nothing but net there for Olive to net her 4th goal this year, a career high. It's been a sensational season for her.
Olive extending that career high that she had already built this year. Had never had more than 2 goals in a season. That being her 4th, she's got 3 assists as well, and now 11 points in total. And the Nighthawks take a firm lead with less than a half hour to play here in Dahlonega.
Yeah, and Clayton State, they've definitely got some work to do. Even if they're able to get a pair of goals back here against North Georgia with 27 minutes to go, you know, they have had a handful of ties this year, 4 on the season, so they're looking to come away with the win, of course, here in Dahlonega, but they've got their work cut out for them now with North Georgia building up a little bit more of a cushion.
And we talked about that pressure from Clayton State that we've seen grow in this second half, and it's going to grow even more as the night continues. So the 63rd minute goal for Darby Olive puts the Nighthawks up 2-0 on the Lakers.
And what a response here from North Georgia after their performance in their last game against Georgia Southwestern. You know, had the senior day festivities maybe spoiled a little bit after they, came away with the loss in that game. So to come out the gate strong here against a really good program in Clayton State, who's been great all season long. Just a really good comeback here for North Georgia if they're able to come away with the W.
And it looks like Hannah Carlsoon lifted that back foot on the throw-in, so now the Nighthawks will get it with Alex Clark right in front of the stands here on the near side. Fruits forward to Diaz and right back to her. Olive with some speed now. Olive a scissor move for Watry. Plenty of room on the far side. Watry crosses it in. A bouncing ball is kicked away by Goularte. Watry and Olive try to retrieve it, but Leah Agrel takes it and clears it. And they say it's off the Nighthawks, so a Clayton State throw-in.
That was a great slide tackle there by Darby Olive, too, to cut off some of that momentum from Clayton State, resulting in a throw-in for them.
And another whistle, and now back in favor of the Nighthawks after the foul on the Lakers.
And North Georgia, they're not taking their foot off the gas here. Sweet move there by Alex Clark to lose the defender, but they're not taking their foot off the gas. They are trying to build this cushion up even more against Clayton State. They're not satisfied with this 2-0 lead.
This is Dalia Ayeda into the game for the Lakers, subbing in after the goal from Olive. Carrie Consolillo still in, but on the far side has been completely shut down today by UNG.
Yeah, it's just a rare sight to see. Like we mentioned in the first half, she averages a goal per game this year. One of the best players in Division II women's soccer has been kept quiet by these North Georgia defenders.
Clayton State still with only one shot in this game, and it's not from Carrie Consolillo. It's from their other goal scorer, Amaya Sprunger-Hightower, who is currently still on the bench after being subbed early in this second half. Battle in the near corner leads to a Laker goal kick for Trinity Chastain. Chastain with only 6 goals allowed this season before tonight. Nighthawks have got a third of that already. Still with 23 minutes to play, Sam Cottle checks in, taking over for Bailey Odinger, who gets a flurry of high fives as she meets the bench after her goal.
Yeah, Chastain, she's really been great all season long. Maybe tested here by North Georgia, but this one looks like it's going to roll out of play. But she's really been sensational. Has a pair of PBC Goalkeeper of the Week awards under her belt this year. She's really been their go-to as a veteran in goal.
And despite how good Chastain has been as of late, or as of the season, I should say, for Clayton State, as of late, it has been a little bit of trouble. She's given up a goal or more in each of her last 3 outings, one against Columbus State, one against Flagler. We mentioned that a 1-0 loss to Columbus State and a 1-1 draw with the Saints. And now the 2 goals to UNG here. She had gone 4 straight matches without giving up a goal prior to this stretch of 3 in a row. Obviously 3 good teams in the Cougars, Saints, and Nighthawks. Diaz with some space. Just out of reach of Grace McGill, a step too far.
Another notable stat with Chastain, top 11 in the country in save percentage this year at almost 85%. So she's just been stopping pretty much anything that comes her way, but North Georgia has gotten in her head a little bit here in this second half.
Far side foul on Consolillo. Carrie Consolillo, 2-time PBC Player of the Week. Most recently, 2 weeks ago on October 14th. That one on October 14th was because she had 4 goals and 3 assists in that 9-1 win against Shorter. It's the most points, 11, in a match in Clayton State history. Despite being a non-conference opponent, that kind of performance will certainly get you Player of the Week honors.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good performance from her. In that matchup, like you said, it's just pretty much a guarantee that you're going to walk away with a weekly award there. The Lakers, just in general, they've been racking up the PBC weekly awards this season, 7 in total across their roster. They've really had some special performances this year. That one from Consolillo, no different.
That was Agrel with a chance, but a good cutoff there by Fruits. And Consolillo, that 4 goals against Shorter, her 3rd hat trick this season. She was a transfer from Reinhardt, who got here last year for Clayton State. She was an All-America honorable mention when she was at the NAIA level at Reinhardt. But she has been quieted tonight by this Nighthawks back line. Jessica Fuentes subbed out for Clayton State. Smilla Rosenborg in.
There's a good opportunity here for the Lakers.
Here's Consolillo right in front. Cut off again. And they say she was offsides. That's the best opportunity Clayton State has had tonight, and they still don't register a shot. Nighthawk fans, we want to remind you that the Nighthawk Sideline Shop at nighthawksidelineshop.com is available and open now. The brand new NG is everywhere, all over any gear that you would want for any type of season, size, gender, everything. We've got it all. It's in blue, it's in black, it's in gray, it's in white. It's in whatever you want on the nighthawksidelineshop.com. Go get some today. A trip just outside the box is going to lead to a free kick. This might be a yellow card as well. I think it is. Hard to tell who it was assessed to. Looks like it was Gabriela Martinez Alessi, the freshman defender out of Madrid.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the one downfall of Clayton's the Lakers this year has been their yellow cards, that they've had more than a few this season than they probably would have liked to. That one may have just been a little bit of a frustration call on that one, as it's going to give North Georgia a free kick here in a really, really good spot.
Looks like it's expectedly going to be Wheeler to take this one. Diaz is also there as well for a little bit of deception. The referee will walk the wall inside the box for Clayton State. It's a wall of 3 Lakers right now, and Alex Clark will now come get into the mix. North Georgia could almost assuredly cement a win with a goal here. Wheeler's had plenty of opportunities tonight. Diaz steps up. She doesn't take it. It will be Wheeler, and the screamer sails over the net. So a goal kick for Clayton State.
And Wheeler will just keep taking advantage of these opportunities. She's bound to find the back of the net at some point if the Lakers keep giving her these sorts of chances.
Law of averages, right?
Exactly. She is coming into this season a PBC preseason all-conference selection, and it took her a minute to kind of find her footing this year, but she's really kind of come into her own again over these last handful of games, second on the team in goals, and she's just been just great for North Georgia over the last month or so.
And she's been thrust into a new role kind of out of necessity. All of a sudden in her junior season, she's a veteran presence on this team, and especially in the midfield. And I think that slow start that you mentioned was just a learning process. She had a bunch of all-conference and all-American players around her and next to her last season that she could kind of bounce off of and use to her advantage, and now she's a focal point, a highlight for this team. And that took a little bit of getting used to, but lately she's been phenomenal in the midfield.
Yeah, and that transition from your second to third season, you are pretty much established as a veteran once you're in your junior year, and you got to contribute in some other ways as well with some veteran leadership, and she absolutely has done that here in this 2024 season. And
you think about other players that might take that big step from second year to third year. The one who just tipped it out of bounds, Grace McGill, a sophomore this season. Chloe Diaz as well, heavily involved in the midfield and in the front for UNG. Angie Garcia, who's checked in recently for Darby Olive, another sophomore on this team that gets a lot of run. Clayton State feeling the pressure mounting as the clock dwindles down near the 16-minute mark. Garcia with it. Sophomore to sophomore, she finds Diaz. Wheeler up for Watry. A good touch forward. Is it too strong? And it was not, but she was upended, so another free kick. And, Robert, I have a feeling Wheeler's going to take this one and take a shot.
If you were to put money on it, I would say definitely that Wheeler is going to be the one to take this shot. She's been their go-to on these sorts of opportunities all season long, and, expect to see her take this free kick here. This is really where she capitalizes on these sorts of opportunities.
And now, of course, as soon as we say that, Grace McGill lines up on the left side to take it on her right foot. Wheeler, the righty, would kick it with her left if she does take it here. And it's a fake McGill, and hers is too strong as well, deep to the back of the net and over the goal.
But that's what you want to see, though. Try to get Grace McGill involved. A little bit of trickery there. They certainly tricked us for the moment being, having McGill take that shot, but
hey, I think anytime you can get Grace McGill a shot, you're going to take it. Watry tripped up again. And I think we're getting a yellow card this time. Second of the game. And this one is on Smilia Rosenborg.
That's back-to-back plays where, Kat Watry has had the pressure on her, and she takes advantage there in almost the exact same spot, but this time the Lakers just too aggressive on the contact to stop the clock here for this free kick.
Now it's Diaz who prepares to take it. Four Nighthawks on the right outside the half circle, 3 on the left. Diaz against a wall of 3 defenders. She sends a good shot just above the crossbar. The Nighthawks have been right in the area, in the neighborhood all night long, but have been unable to find the frame yet. 15 minutes to go. Quick update from Morrow, where the 2 men's teams of these same schools are playing. If you missed it at halftime and earlier in the first half, it's a huge game in Morrow for the North Georgia men's soccer team. They're 7-4-1 on the year in conference. And if they can pick up a win against Clayton State, who only sits a point behind the Nighthawks in the standings, but with 2 games in hand, the Nighthawks can put themselves in the driver's seat to win the regular season conference title. With 17 and a half minutes to go at Clayton State, it's still 0-0 between those 2 squads, so nothing to report other than that they're still tied scoreless, just a few minutes behind us here in Dahlonega. Clark with a little bit of space now. Cottle is over there with her. 2 defenders. Clark turns away. A nice move, and now looking for more room. Back to Wheeler. Garcia lets it go to Aronoff, who gets into position. Diaz in the middle. Turns on her left foot. Forward for Aronoff. Crossing chance, but she's offsides. Likely would have been Sam Cottle's 6th goal of the year, but not to be, as it will be another set piece off of the foot of Trinity Chastain.
Yeah, that was a close call there for Lakers. Would have been the nail in the coffin in this one for North Georgia had they been able to make something happen, but they can maybe play a little bit of keep away here as we're now under 14 minutes to go. Wouldn't expect to see Coach Ralton go to her bench here unless she absolutely has to with the new rules in play. Wants to keep this clock moving to try to take off as much time as possible to come away with this win.
Yeah, I think that's why we saw the substitutions within the last 10 minutes. Get those players that you might want in late, in before the 15-minute mark, so you can keep that clock running. Hasenich up forward, intended for Paylote, and I think they just weren't on the same page. Nice touch by Clark, keep it in play, and now they're going on the counter. Garcia misplayed for a moment. Nighthawks certainly can take their time, especially with it back here on the back line. Just don't want to make a mistake and lead to a Laker opportunity and let them get back in this game. UNG has simply handled business today. 14 shots for the Nighthawks, 7 on goal. Again, still just 1 shot for Clayton State. Here's Watry, perhaps another opportunity. Watry dribbles in, and it's deflected. It will lead to a corner.
Watry, it's nice to see her getting really involved here in the attacking game for North Georgia. She took a step up last year in that category, had a career high in goals in 2023, and she's looking for her first goal of the 2024 season.
Quickly get it into Wheeler. She fires a shot that's blocked. She chases it down with 2 defenders behind her. Clark forward for Aronoff. Nice job to keep the ball and the chance alive. Clark dribbling in. Aronoff. Watry again. A good cross, but nobody's in the area. Garcia just inside the box. Garcia off the left foot. That's deflected up. Now Wheeler back forward. McGill trying to get involved. Cottle's there. Back for McGill with the header, but just off target. And Clark will let this one roll out of bounds along the fence at midfield for a North Georgia throw-in.
It looks like the Nighthawks do make a substitution, bringing Watry out of this game, and it looks like O'Brien in. So the clock will stop, but brings in another savvy veteran off the bench here for Coach Ralton.
The throw-in will move up a couple yards as it's deflected out of bounds by Carlsoon. 11 minutes to go here in Dahlonega. There's 14 minutes to go in Morrow at Clayton State, and the bad news for the Nighthawks, a penalty kick opportunity on its way for the Lakers, a chance to break the scoreless tie with 13:55 to go. Clayton State has a chance to put themselves in first place in the PBC with a win over the Nighthawks tonight. Fruit's a good takeaway. Sends it forward, and Cottle and McGill not quite there.
Yeah, two big games going on for the home and away Nighthawks tonight against the Lakers.
And a whistle here. The card is out of the hands of the referee. That's down the line on the far side. Not sure who it's on. Whether it was on someone on Clayton State's bench, maybe towards where Alexa Aronoff and Madison Nicholas are. There was at one of them. Maybe at Aronoff for the tackle. We can report Clayton State has scored on the PK, so with 14 minutes to go, the Nighthawks need some magic over in Morrow to try to hold first place in the PBC. The yellow card is on Alexa Aronoff.
This is a good position here for the Lakers with the clock stopped and building up a little bit of momentum here. They've got this free kick. Probably not in a position that they really wanted it exactly. We'll see if they can make something happen.
Good ball into the box, right to Aronoff. Off her head into the foot of Garcia, who spins away from traffic and up for Diaz. Diaz just a touch behind, and it's taken away. Now Cottle with a little bit of room. Garcia on the run, and too strong for her, but McGill finds it now. McGill cuts back to the middle. Trying to line up a shot. She does, and Chastain is there to field it on a hop.
Couple of good opportunities for Grace McGill here in this second half. Haven't been able to come away with anything, but she's a player in her third and fourth seasons here in Dahlonega. Is definitely going to be more used for Coach Ralton.
Diaz dribbles forward to the left side. She's marked there, turns away, and has it taken away. Hasanic forcing the turnover. And she's walled up by Wheeler in the middle. Clark a give and go with Garcia. Plenty of room for her now. See if she can make something happen. McGill elected not to go back, turns off her left. O'Brien, a good cross, but nobody is there, and it's just cleared away for a Nighthawks corner. That was Carl Soon that got rid of it. And clock stops for a UNG substitution. Emma Moreau and Campbell Young, a pair of freshmen, going to check in. Alexa Aronoff and Chloe Diaz head to the sidelines.
Yeah, this is what you want to see if you're Coach Ralton, bringing in some freshmen into the game. And, you know, these two in particular have seen a lot of game action this season, so you kind of know what you're getting with them, but they're very, very good freshmen.
McGill on the volley on the corner. Strong opportunity, but it got deflected before it could get there. And it looks like either this will be a corner as that went out along the sideline, or excuse me, a throw-in as it went out along the sideline. Baressi's going to get this one in. McGill finds Wheeler with the head. Moreau. Far side, there's Campbell Young. Her first touches. Freshman to freshman with Cottle. A lot of freshmen on the field right now for UNG.
These two specifically coming from Texas, too. You see a lot of North Georgia players that are coming from in-state, but we have a handful of freshmen, actually. 3, I think, in total coming from Texas, with Kimora Hall being the other one.
She would be the trifecta if she got on the field. Hall, I believe, is not dressed tonight. Just over 7 minutes to go. Still 2-0 Nighthawks. Whistle against Garcia.
And the Nighthawks really returning to form from what we saw from them last season during the regular season. At home, went undefeated here at Lynn Cottrell Park in the UNG soccer field during the regular season. So did the men's soccer team. They did that as well. And both of North Georgia's losses this year have come on their home turf. So barring a big comeback here for the Lakers, they are really starting to look like what they did in 2023, just dominant at home.
For this Nighthawk team, a 3-2-1 record at home. It's their first season with 2 losses in Dahlonega since 2021. They're undefeated on the road, 5-0 this year. The men's team, 5-1.
Well, that's what you like to see if you're North Georgia, that even if they do have to go on the road for a PBC matchup later on in the season, or a potential regional matchup, or in the NCAA tournament, you know that they can get it done on the road.
Baresi for Garcia. O'Brien watches that one get out of bounds. A throw in for UNG. Clark will take it. McGill nutmegs a defender, getting it forward. Garcia's pass deflected as it was intended for O'Brien. Wheeler, far side to Cottle with a little bit of room. Now that's closed quickly, as that was good defense there by Madeline Stark, a junior out of Knoxville. A corner, though, coming. Goes to Garcia. A couple touches. Weaves past the defender. Garcia shoots. Too strong. Just over the back of the net.
That was a really good look there by Angie Garcia, trying to make this bench come alive here. This great crowd you've got on hand at the UNG soccer field as well. They would have come off their feet from that shot, by that potential goal from Garcia. But if you're a Nighthawk faithful, if you're a North Georgia fan, you got to be happy with this score here, especially from what they saw last weekend on Gold Rush weekend, with the Nighthawks picking up that loss against Georgia Southwestern.
Quickly thrown into Samantha Giel. Moreau gets it forward to McGill. O'Brien with her on the far side. McGill stops, turns back, finds a streaking Wheeler coming into the play. Wheeler in the middle. Cottle tried to weave between 2 defenders. Garcia's there now. Garcia, a good touch. She's tripped up, and another free kick for UNG. This one just outside the box, inside the half circle. 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, great position here for the Nighthawks, especially with the clock continuing to roll. They may take this one under 3 minutes to go here by the time that they fire off this free kick. In a good spot to potentially put up the 3-piece.
Looks like it will be Garcia to take it. Just had a shot a few minutes ago. That a lot of power, just a little bit off target. See what she does here. This one's in! Angie Garcia slips it past the wall. Trinity Chastain wasn't ready, and that's her first goal of the season. 3-0 Hawks, and you can put this one to bed.
And a way to get your first goal of the season there, as it's the nail in the coffin in Dahlonega. All smiles on that North Georgia bench and on the field for the Nighthawks. Has really been just a phenomenal showing from them here in Dahlonega to get back into the win column.
UNG is going to pick up their 9th win of the season and their fifth in conference in 7 tries against a talented Clayton State team that had everything to play for tonight, and a Clayton State team that's only lost in the PBC just once. The Nighthawks firmly dominated this team, and it's a team that came in with high offensive hopes and firepower on that attacking front. And while North Georgia's going to win this game at least 3-0, it looks like, for the time being, and the offense is the highlight, the defense completely shut down Clayton State today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And this has been a Clayton State team that has been firing on all cylinders all season long, and this is going to go down as their biggest loss of the season. Their only loss prior to today would be against Columbus State, and that 1-0 loss for them. And so North Georgia, they've looked really strong against this Clayton State team.
Campbell Young, a shot fake on her left foot, chips it forward just too far. McGill, you could see her lunge forward trying to get ahead on it. Would have had a great look at a goal. Not to be. And Charlie Morgan, another freshman, will step on. Losing count. She does take the place of a fellow freshman in Sam Cottle. We will go ahead and give one last update from the men's side in Morrow. 7 minutes to go. Clayton State leads 2-0 over the Nighthawks, that they've gotten a second late goal in the second half. It looks like the Lakers are going to pull that one out, barring a miracle for UNG. We've already seen one miracle this season. Can they get another? Stay tuned to UNGathletics.com and all our Nighthawk social accounts to find out the final score of that one.
Yeah, you'd like to see Jorge Sandoval potentially get involved for North Georgia men's soccer over there in Morrow. Had that phenomenal game-winning goal against Flagler this past weekend. Just an electric atmosphere back here at the UNG soccer field.
Under 60 to go. Nighthawks are going to leave tonight and immediately begin preparing for Saturday's match with Columbus State, their biggest game of the season to date. They'll head to Columbus to take on the second-ranked Cougars at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And with the win over Columbus State, they could give themselves a good chance at winning first place in the Peach Belt.
Yeah, this is just a great momentum boost going into that game against Columbus State if you're North Georgia, picking up the win tonight, and it's definitely just great morale-wise for them going into that matchup.
10 seconds left. That will do it on this one here in Dahlonega. Nighthawks win it 3-0. Goals from Angie Garcia, Darby Olive, and Bailey Odinger seal this one. It was a hotly contested first half. Clayton State held in and kept UNG scoreless. We were 0-0 after 45, and quickly. It did not take long after halftime for that to change. Bailey Odinger scores in the 46th minute, and the Nighthawks run away with it from there. They pick up their 4th shutout of the season, their first since October 1st on the road against USC Beaufort, a 1-0 win. Then UNG moves to 9-2-1 on the year, 5-1-1 in conference play. Clayton State falls to 7-2-4 overall, 2-2-3 within the PBC. The Nighthawks, for the moment, in first place, a point ahead of Columbus State. We don't know the result of their match from tonight. We will get that in just a few moments. But, Robert, a big win for UNG. Looked like it was going to be closer than we thought maybe. Clayton State obviously coming in with high expectations and a good team, but the Nighthawks ran away with it in the second half.
Yeah, huge bounce-back win here for them. We mentioned in that second half, when they don't score a goal in the first half, they haven't looked as good this season, but that didn't matter here in this matchup, coming away with 3 second-half goals. A couple of familiar faces in Odinger and Olive doing the damage, and then Angie Garcia putting the nail in the coffin here for North Georgia. Just a great bounce-back win for them, and like I said, just a great morale boost going into those top 10 ranked matchups to end the regular season. A great win for North Georgia.
In Columbus, the Hurricanes of Georgia Southwestern trying to pick up their second upset win in a row, and it looks like it won't happen tonight. Columbus stayed up 4-0 at the half against Georgia Southwestern. They have 19 shots. Georgia Southwestern has none. So it looks like the Cougars are going to pick up their 12th win of the year. But for this exact moment, your Nighthawks are in first place in the Peach Belt Conference. For Robert DiClemente, I'm Brendan Shabat. For the rest of our Nighthawk Sports Network crew, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you a week from now. Another Wednesday doubleheader coming up between the Nighthawks as they take on Lenore-Rhine on the women's side, and the men will face Lander a week from today here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park. 3-0, the Nighthawks defeat the Lakers here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.